everyone, it's Sunday prep day, but guess what? Sunday prep day almost didn't happen. When you live in Central Florida on a lake, things can sometimes get a little scary. Let me show you what just happened. So it's a little bit windy out. I can't guarantee I'm gonna get my prep done. Look, my poor hammock. It is really bad out there. You can't even see the lake. So as you can see, that was a little scary because when your house is just a bunch of open windows, you really don't want to be in the middle of a kitchen prepping. I think it's over. Everything's good. It's a little bit of thunder out there now, but I think we're okay. So we are going to carry on with prep day. If you're new to my channel, welcome. My name is Christy and I am planning us healthy. So here we go. This week I'm going to start with dinners. Last week I did breakfast and then lunch and then dinner. This week I'm going to do dinners first, get those out of the way, and then I'll probably go to lunch and then do breakfast last. And then that way when I get to the overnight oats, a lot of you already have seen that, so that way if there's any new people that want to stay for that one, then we can do that last. For those of you who are new, when I prep my dinners, I just put them in bags. I measure everything, I weigh everything, and I just put the ingredients that I'm going to be using in the bag. I don't chop everything, I don't get it all ready for, I don't put it together, with the exception of the meatloaf. Tonight I will put the meatloaf together and have that ready because that's going to be going in the crock pot Tuesday morning. So for the dinners, we're just putting the ingredients in the bag, measuring. And the reason that I do that is because number one, it saves on waste. Number two, when I get home from work, I can just throw everything together and prep it. Everything's already weighed, portioned, measured, and everything. And number three, it's portion control because I'm only putting enough in the bag for our 2 servings, for my husband and I. So everything that I'm making tonight for the dinners will be for 2 servings, except if I tell you otherwise, like the meatloaf will be more than 2 servings. I'm actually making a big meatloaf, and I'm going to probably end up having that for a second night. I have subs on the list for Thursday, but I think I'm going to just do, I think we're going to have leftover meatloaf, so I will probably do that on Thursday. If not, then I can freeze it. Meatloaf is super easy to freeze. So if you ever want a day that you do some freezer meals, meatloaf is a great freezer meal. I actually one time did 50 freezer meals in a day. I think I may do a video of that sometime, but I'm not sure. I was really tired. All right, so the first one we're going to do is our bourbon glazed salmon with rice pilaf and asparagus. On my meal plan, if you remember, I did have carrots and asparagus. I ended up using all my carrots in today's, I have turkey tenderloin going in the crock pot today. So I ended up using all my carrots in that. So I'm going to just do asparagus, and then I'm just going to add a little bit of broccoli to this one. So what I'm going to do, I already have my asparagus ends cut off. So I'm just going to put those in the bag. And then they're not washed or anything. I'm putting it all in there like this. And then tomorrow night when I cook this meal, I'll just pull everything out, wash the vegetables, and do it that way. So I'm going to do that. And then the next thing I'm going to do is take another gallon bag. And when I do my preps, I always set my table up this way. I have all my bags there. I have all my little containers that I put stuff in, and then my scale, and I always keep a little garbage so when I'm chopping things I can just throw it in there, and then it saves on cleanup afterwards. So on this one I'm going to take another bag because we're going to marinate the salmon. You only really have to marinate it for 30 minutes, but I love this one marinated for a full day. So I'm going to go ahead and get that marinated. This recipe is similar to Longhorn Steakhouse salmon. If anybody has been to Longhorn Steakhouse and had their bourbon glazed salmon, this is very similar. So I'm going to put everything in the bag. The only thing I'm not putting in the bag is the bourbon, because that's out in my husband's man cave. So I'm going to have him bring some in later, and I'll just add that to the bag. Add that to the bag after. So I'm going to need 2 tablespoons of brown sugar. I usually use the Splenda, I think it's like a Splenda brown sugar mix, but I thought I had some and I don't. So I'm going to just use regular brown sugar. And you're going to need 1 ounce of the bourbon, which we'll add that after. And then 1 tablespoon of soy sauce. And 1 clove of garlic. And then we need about a teaspoon of ginger. And I'm going to go ahead and grate this one. And finally, about a tablespoon of lime juice. Alright, we're just going to mix that up. And then we are going to put our salmon in there. Now I have enough sandwich? I am stumbling over words lately. I have enough salmon for 2 days because I'm doing salmon for my lunch the next day. And I have some extra in here. When we have salmon, we like to give the dogs some salmon because they love it and it's good. So we're just going to go ahead and put those pieces in there. Alright. And then we put that in our bag with our vegetables. And that's all ready to go. And then all we have to do is cook the vegetables. And I'll go ahead and put the salmon in there too, because I will just probably pan sear that. I may just bake it, I'm not sure. We're also going to put a couple green onions in there, and we'll just put those on the salmon when it comes out. And there is our bourbon glazed salmon, which I need to remember, my husband has to bring the bourbon. The next one we're going to do is the 1-pan Parmesan crusted chicken with broccoli. Actually, I'm doing broccoli, zucchini, squash, and potatoes. I'm just going to do a little bit of broccoli because I am going to use the rest of the broccoli for my lunch when I have salmon. So I'm going to use maybe half of the broccoli. We love broccoli, so we eat broccoli quite often. And then for my lunch, I'm just going to go ahead and just put the rest of the broccoli in here. And then I'm probably just going to cook this one in the microwave. Usually I roast it. I just throw it in the microwave the day that I'm going to have it for work. So that was a quick lunch done. Alright, so then broccoli, I'm going to do zucchini and squash. And I'm just going to put those, they're going to cook right on the pan with the chicken. I was going to do baby potatoes with these, but again, I used all my baby potatoes in the crock pot today for the turkey tenderloin. So I'm going to just do a can of white potatoes for this meal. These are actually really low in points. I think they're like 2 points for a serving, which I think is like 2/3 of a cup. So I'm just going to do those with that meal. And then what we want for this one, I got a mess here. I'm going to get my little snack bag, and in the snack bag I am going to put 1/4 of a cup of Parmesan cheese. I'm going to do 1 big clove or 2 small cloves of garlic. Alright, so we're going to put the garlic in with the Parmesan cheese. This is a skinnytaste.com recipe. It calls for an eighth of a cup of parsley, fresh parsley. I forgot to buy some, so I'm just going to use dried parsley. And I'm just going to put however much I want in there. And then seal that bag up. And then in another bag, I'm just going to put some garlic powder, some salt and pepper. I don't know if anybody ever showed you, if you put a pepper, if your pepper's not coming out good and you put the salt there, and you just do that, I don't know if you can see that, it makes it come out faster. And this is just going to be sprinkled over everything. And this is our topping for the chicken. And then we'll put our chicken in there. One pan Parmesan crusted chicken, done. Okay, for the fish and fries, this is actually 13-ounce potato, so I'm just going to use that. You can use between 3/4 of a pound or a pound. And then I have 1/3 of a cup of flour mixed with some pepper. I have an egg. And then this is 1/3 cup of panko, 1/3 cup of regular breadcrumbs, seasoned breadcrumbs, a tablespoon of Parmesan, and 1/8 of a teaspoon of cayenne pepper. If you don't like heat, then you can leave the cayenne pepper out. And then I also have made up some homemade tartar sauce. I just use mayonnaise, sweet relish, and a little bit of lemon juice in that. And that you just kind of make it to your liking. And then the other thing is, I'm using flounder for this one, but this is frozen fish, so I'm just going to leave this in the freezer, and then I will pull it out that night and run it underwater to unthaw it. So that one is probably the easiest one to prep. Alright, and for our last dinner, we're going to do the barbecue glazed turkey meatloaf. And in this one, I'm actually going to, I'm not sure how I'm going to make my mashed potatoes, so I'm just going to put the potatoes in there for now. And I want to get about a pound of potatoes. So that's a little bit over, but I'm not going to cut the potatoes, so I'll just reweigh it the night that I do it, and then give some to the dogs. The Brussels sprouts are actually just frozen Brussels sprouts that I put in the microwave, so those I won't take out. And then the other thing is I have 1/4 of a cup of cheese that I will top the Brussels sprouts with, so I'll put that in there. And then for the meatloaf, I'm going to go ahead and put the whole meatloaf together and put it in its own bag, because that way all I got to do is pop it in the slow cooker on Tuesday morning. So I'm going to measure out 1/3, actually I'm going to weigh out 1/3 of a cup of seasoned breadcrumbs. These are not the panko kind, these are just the regular seasoned. I'm doing double, I forgot. I'm doing double, so I need 60 grams, which is 2/3 of a cup. And then I'm going to need 1/2 of a cup of reduced fat cheddar cheese. So 1/2 of a cup is going to be 56 grams. And then 2 eggs. And then about 1/2 of a cup of onion. The only onion I have is red onion, and I don't really want to use red onion in a meatloaf, so I'm going to use a shallot. All right, so that's right about a half a cup. And I still have a shallot left that I want to go ahead and use up. So I think I'm going to use that in the breakfast casserole. Another thing, I like a little bit of red pepper in my meatloaf. So I'm just going to cut a little bit of red pepper in there. All right, and then we're going to need 2 teaspoons of oregano, and then a half a teaspoon of pepper, and a half a teaspoon of salt. And then I am going to add some garlic, just because I love garlic. And then about 4 teaspoons of Worcestershire. Then we need 2½ pounds of ground turkey breast. And I'm going to save the other half a pound for the breakfast casserole. And then we're just going to mix that all up. So after our meatloaf is all mixed together, we're just going to put it in a gallon bag. We're going to go ahead and just kind of get it into the shape of a loaf. So I usually do it about like that, and then I'll just cut the bag and slide it out. So let me show you. Seeing how this is almost kind of like a cook along or make dinner with me, I will show you. So what you want to do is take aluminum foil and just fold it in half and put that right in the bottom of, or right in your crock pot. And that way you can use that to lift it out. And then just spray it with olive oil spray. Put your meatloaf on there and then just cook it in the slow cooker for 6 to 8 hours on low, or maybe 3 to 4 on high. I don't usually do things on high because I usually do them when I'm gone to work. So I usually do them way longer than that. Okay, and then the next thing that you want to do is the topping. And all I have in here is 1/4 of a cup of ketchup, 1/4 of a cup of brown sugar, about 2 teaspoons of spicy mustard or Dijon mustard, and then about 4 teaspoons of Worcestershire. And just mix all that up. And then that'll be your topping. And so what you'll do with this is just put it on for maybe like the last 30 minutes. So if you want to follow this recipe online, it is on the WW app. The only changes that I do is I double it. And I also add garlic and red pepper. And I am going to just put it into a little container. And that is the topping. And normally what I need to do is put the topping in the bottom because that's going to be the last thing. So this way everything will still be in there. And that is our barbecue glazed turkey meatloaf. So now our dinners are done, so I'm going to clean up a little bit of this mess, and then I'm probably going to go ahead and finish my lunches because, like I said, lunches are mostly leftovers, so I'll just go ahead and get my salad together, and then we'll get started on breakfast. So for lunches, like I said, I'm having leftovers a lot. I'm having, let's see, Monday I am having leftover from dinner tonight, turkey tenderloin. Tuesday I am doing salmon and broccoli, so that will be from dinner Monday night. Wednesday I'm going to do my Laughing Cow turkey wrap, so I am going to do that real quick. So I take 1 wedge of Laughing Cow cheese, I spread it on a Olay Extreme Wellness wrap. These are 1-point wraps. The cheese, or the Laughing Cow cheese, is 1 point. And then add our turkey. I do about 3 ounces of turkey. And even though turkey is 0 points, I still weigh it out. Actually, for pretty much all 0 points foods, I still try to weigh them out because, again, it's not free food, it's 0 point food. So I want to make sure that I'm keeping it to a serving. So then I'm just going to go ahead and roll this up. And I will put it in a bag, and then I have my banana peppers, my red onion, lettuce, and tomato all in bags. Last week I put this in with this bag, and the juice from this just destroyed the lettuce. It was pretty bad. So I'm going to separate them this week and see how that does. And then I am going to bring some pickles to have with that. My husband is having his on bread, and he will have his vegetables and his pickles on the side as well. And then I went ahead and did my salad. Everybody knows how to do a salad. I just put lettuce, tomato, zucchini, red onion, and about 3 ounces of turkey in that. So that is my salad. And I'm probably going to have, I had my salad for Friday, but I'm probably going to swap it out and do my salad earlier because I like them more fresh. So I have my broccoli for my salmon, I have my salad, I have my wrap, which I will wrap that up in saran wrap. For my salad, I actually have some Olive Garden light salad dressing in my refrigerator at work. So I will just use that on there. And then I went ahead and got my snacks ready. You didn't need to see me weighing out snacks. So basically this is what I do. I just put my pretzels, I weigh them out and put a little Laughing Cow cheese. This is 1 serving. So I know this bag is 4 points. And I usually do about 4 of them. Between my husband and I, will pull one out throughout the week. And then the other snacks we do are yogurt, puddings. And these are not necessarily every week. They're just snacks that we keep. That way, if we want a snack, these are 2 points, these are 2 points, these are 4 points. And then we also have our Premier Protein that we keep just in case we want to use it in our coffee, or if we want to just have it, you know, maybe we miss breakfast. Sometimes I might just grab one of these if I miss breakfast or something. So this one is caramel and this one is chocolate. They both have 30 grams of protein in them, and they are only 2 points for each one. So those are really good. So now I am going to move on to breakfast. All right, so now we're going to do the breakfast casserole. This recipe actually calls for bacon, and I did not get bacon, so I'm going to use the Al Fresco country style chicken sausage, the breakfast kind, and I'm going to use the whole package, and I'm also going to use Velveeta Shreds for the cheese. So this is actually only going to be 3 points per serving rather than 5 like the recipe goes, like the recipe is. This recipe you can find at drizzlemeskinny.com. That's where I got it. So I'm just making some changes along the way because I don't have bacon and because I want to use the Velveeta Shreds cheese. So that's going to change the point value a little bit. So in the turkey I have about a teaspoon of oregano, maybe about a teaspoon of sage. I used less sage than the recipe called for. And then just some salt and pepper. And so now I'm just going to go ahead and cook that up. I have my oven preheating to 350 degrees. And I just am microwaving the chicken sausage. Alright, so our turkey is about done. And I just microwaved the chicken sausage for a little bit. I'm just going to go ahead and add that in now. So we're just going to mix that up and then we'll put our casserole together. Alright, so now that we have our chicken sausage and turkey mixed together, we're going to add in 3 cups of frozen hash browns. I used Orida. I'm sure you can use any kind. And I'm actually going to add mushrooms and shallots to mine. And just give that a good mix. Have my 13 by 9 inch casserole dish sprayed with olive oil spray. We're just going to go ahead and add it to our casserole dish. And then I have 10 eggs, a half a cup of 1% milk, and then some salt and pepper. And I'm just going to pour that right over top. And then we're going to put 3/4 of a cup of, I used the Velveeta Shreds, so these are less points than the other. So we're just going to put that over the top. And some green onion. And if you don't like green onion, you can just leave this off. And then we're going to bake it in the oven, which we have preheated to 350 degrees. And we're going to bake it for about 45 minutes and see if it's set. So now while we have the breakfast casserole in the oven, we're going to do the overnight oats. I went ahead and started this because those of you who follow me regularly, you've probably watched this for the last 2 weeks. So I didn't want to bore you with it. But for those who are new to my channel, I wanted to make sure that I shared my overnight oats with you all. So for my overnight oats, I use 1/3 of a cup of oats. I use a 1/2 cup of unsweetened almond vanilla milk, or vanilla almond milk. I use 2 tablespoons of PB2, 1 teaspoon of cinnamon, a 1/2 tablespoon of chia seeds, and then I do 1 packet of sweetener in each one. And I also use 1 small thing of nonfat Greek yogurt, just the plain kind. I split that amongst the 4 jars. And then I go ahead and give it all a stir. And then after it's all stirred, then I add fruit. Usually I use blueberries, strawberries, banana, but you can use whatever you want. I'm actually just using, this week I'm just going to use blueberries and bananas because I didn't buy strawberries today. Then what I usually do is for the rest of the fruit that I have left, I just do little fruit bowls for both my husband and I for the week. And I actually have grapes, so we'll have fruit bowls with grapes and blueberries and bananas this week. Alright, then we're just going to put the tops on them and just put them in the fridge until we have them. And then when you have them the next day, in the morning, you just eat them. You can just eat them cold. You don't have to heat them up or anything. Some people do not like overnight oats for that reason. They like their oats warm. But I like them this way, and the same with what's in them. A lot of people, it's all about preference as to the flavor that you have in there. So those are done. Now all I'm going to do is just go ahead and split this fruit up between the 2 of us. And then we will be done with that. And then as soon as the casserole is done, I'll show you what that looks like. So while the casserole is baking and we got our overnight oats done, I went ahead and put our lunch together for tomorrow. This is what we had for dinner tonight. This is the turkey tenderloin, carrots, baby red potatoes, and mushrooms that I did in the crock pot. So these are going to be about 4 points each for the potatoes. So that's done, and we're just going to wait for the casserole to be done. So this is what the breakfast casserole came out looking like. It looks amazing. It smells amazing. So I cannot wait to try this. So I'm going to cut this into 6, and each piece is only going to be 3 smart points. This may be on our menu for more weeks to come. So I will get everything all compiled together, and we will see what we did today. All right, so here's what we ended up with. We have all our snacks, we have our fruit bowls, we have our breakfast casserole, our overnight oats, pretzels, the toppings for our sandwiches and wraps, my salad, my broccoli for my salmon, our turkey tenderloin and vegetables, our sandwiches, or my husband's sandwich. This is more breakfast casserole stuff. And then our dinners.
Look at what I did today. Are you?
All right, everyone, we have another week in the books. We are prepped. We're ready to go for the week. Dinners, lunches, breakfast, snacks. The whole week for my husband and I. So today wasn't as bad as last week. I didn't have quite as big of a prep. I think because I didn't do the 5 dinners, and I did a little bit different for lunches this week. So that was nice. So next weekend is actually going to be even shorter because my husband and I have an anniversary coming up. So we're going to be going away. So I'm actually going to have one weekend I'm not going to prep. But I may take you along when we go away for the weekend. I'll see about that. Last I checked, I'm up to 180 subscribers. So Thank you all. Thank you. I really appreciate it. And feel free to share with others. If you're new, I hope that you enjoyed this, and I hope that you'll subscribe. Make sure to hit that notification bell, and it'll let you know anytime that I upload new content. I hope everybody has an amazing week, and I will talk to you soon. I am Christy, and I am planning us healthy.